Greetings, captains. I am Wizard, and welcome to another ship build. I'm very excited to show you this one. It's a replacement for the Frontier. It can be built at level 14 and requires no other skills because it is still a Class A ship. You will need 166,000 credits for the parts, and if you want the Vanguard Obliterator particle beams, you will need to complete the mission Grunt Work. Also, it is advisable to have a landing pad with shipbuilder at an outpost for this. The majority of the build happens there, but you can find the parts elsewhere if you don't have one of those. Now, if you don't have the 166,000 credits that you need, I highly recommend you go and check out my new game guide, which includes setting up this Vitinium mine and allowing you to sell 100,000 credits worth of Vitinium each time you empty those storages. Check that out if you need credits or XP. Now, the Frontier is not a terrible ship. It's just the starter ship. It's not great in combat, but you're stuck with it until level 14, which is the earliest you can make any meaningful upgrades to it. Now, after 14, you're stuck with it for a while longer as you need to rank up more to get more meaningful upgrade parts. So, it's worthwhile to spend the credits to transform it into something like this. This is a massive upgrade over the base ship. It's very capable in combat, it's faster, it can haul more, it's got more crew slots, and it looks great. Two ways to build this ship. You're seeing the lighter one that I prefer with less cargo, but if you prefer more cargo, you can replace two of those Deimos structural pieces with cargo units. Obviously you take a hit to mobility, but if you prefer it this way, go for it. Now, I want to show you a side-by-side combat comparison between the stock Frontier and the upgraded Frontier.
Because that's a Crimson Fleet ship bringing its weapons to bear. We will need to disable their shields. Laser-based weaponry is particularly effective. If you can keep the enemy ship centered on the HUD, we can lock in to fire a homing missile.
Both of those clips were against equally leveled opponents and on very hard mode. Now that you've seen it in action, let's go and build it. To start things off, we need to go to the Deimos Staryard in the Sol system. It orbits Mars, if you didn't know. Here it is. Let's get here and start this build. So we've got the base Frontier, all of its stats, and by the time we're finished with this is going to be a completely different ship. Now, first step, we need to get rid of these engines because we're replacing those, and the engines are one of those components that we're going to get here at Deimos before we move on to our second and final build location. Get rid of the weapons. We don't need these. They are trash and we're going to replace them. We need to go ahead and grab our engines for this build. These are not available at our next location, and we're using 4 Ares DT30 engines. These might not be the best available. One of the reasons I use these engines was specifically because I think they have the best thruster animation effect of any of the engines. So now we need 2 more attachment points for our 2 other engines. So we're going to replace the grav drive here. And as you just saw, the Helios drives don't have attachments on the sides. But this R3000 does have the side attachments. And it happens to meet the other best or highest thrust grav drive that's available to us currently in the game. So now we can go ahead and copy those 2 engines and move them up to those attachments on our new grav drive. Now we can also go ahead and replace our reactor. Now you have two options with the reactor. I like going with the 360T Stellarator because it has a higher repair rate than the other option, the toroidal 134mm. It also has a better hull rating, better reactor health, a little more mass, but I'm willing to, make that slight trade-off. Whether it really makes a big difference in combat, it's probably negligible if at all. So pretty much up to you here. The toroidal does have an extra attachment point on the rear. Now the shield that we choose to use is also available at our Outpost landing pad, but we're going to go ahead and upgrade this now. I went with the Deflector SG30 shield. It is just the best one that you have at level 14. So throw that on now. You can wait till later if you want, up to you. So now let's get our weapons on there. Now there's one weapon set in particular that we use that isn't available at your Outpost landing pad, and that's why we grab it here. It is the Disruptor 3300A Auto Electron Beam. So really that's the main one we need here, but we're going to just get these Vanguards too. We only have so many attachment points, so we're going to use 3 of the Vanguard Obliterators, and we're going to grab 2 of the Disruptor 3300A and throw those on while we're here. And that is all that we need at Deimos, so I'm going to go ahead and assign my 2 new weapon groups so we can clear the error and move on to the next location. After Deimos, you're going to want to jump to your Outpost landing pad. Anywhere you have one, doesn't matter. And go up to your builder, and let's get to work finishing this thing. We need to get rid of everything we don't need. Start with your landers. We're not going to use those. Move your engines out of the way. Move our grav drive and reactor out of the way. Get our ballast cargo because we're going to use that on the final build also. We're going to replace the fuel tank here, so get rid of that too. Move your shield and get your weapons out of the way. Now, just so you know, you can just delete the whole thing if you wanted to. Any part that you have removed from your builder screen, you can reapply to your ship at no cost. So you can just delete everything. You don't have to move it out of the way, literally. So we're going to use the Hope 4 landing bay for this ship. I used it because it has those 2 side attachments, so we need those for the landing gear that we're going to use. The reactor goes right behind it, and the grav drive goes above the reactor and the hab unit that's in between. Now let's add the other habs that we're going to use. For this one I went with the Deimos workshop because it's got the research terminal included with it, unlike the Nova workshop, which I was going to use. Move your Frontier hab out of the way. Workshop goes here, and your Frontier hab is going to go above that. Now the ladder on the Hope landing bay is at the back, the rearmost attachment point. So we know that's where our ladder up is going to be. It's going to go into the workshop. I know that's not very glamorous, but it works. So then the Nova control station goes in front of the workshop with the Nova Frontier hab on top of both of them. Just to make sure we got our ladder in the right place, I put the docking bay on top above where the landing bay ladder comes in. And then we're going to apply our cockpit, and I really like the Magellan C1 cockpits. On the exterior I think is much more attractive. Interior, I don't think they're, one is necessarily better than the other, but the exterior design I really like on those, so we're using that one. And then let's go ahead and get our landing gear on there. For this one I like these Teo pinpoint 3Gs. There's a front, middle, and rear version of these, and the rear one actually has that little extra visual thruster back there. It doesn't add any performance to your ship, but it does look really cool in my opinion. Next thing we need to do is get our shield back into place. That's where it needs to go. Then we're going to start working on the profile of the ship. So find this Nova cowling and put it up here in front of the Frontier Hab. After this, we're going to find the Nova wings and apply those to the front snapping point of the Frontier Hab. Now we're going to apply some cargo, and I'm going to show you a little trick. This is technically a glitch, but this is still a vanilla build. You can do this on any device that you're gaming on, PC or console, doesn't matter. So place the module that we need to move into the correct position, select it, move it to where you want it, and you'll see it's red. But if we flip it and flip it back and then cancel the move instead of accepting it, it'll stay there. So I'll show you again. Select your piece, move it where you want it, flip it back, and cancel. And you can see it stays there and it is attached. We're also going to use this trick on the first fuel tank. It goes on the opposite side of the shield. Now really all we have left to do is to build the wings and the tail of the ship. So let's get these wings built. I used 4 of these Deimos Hull A parts. And then on the outside of those we're going to use the Nova cowlings that kind of look like wings, the big angled ones. They also have little braking engines on them. They're cool parts and they work well for this. Let's find the Nova cowling 2LPF. No way anyone could ever remember these codes, but use 2 of these back to back on each side. Mirror them over. And eventually our engines are going to go there to that first snapping point on the rear ones. We can start working on our tail now too. Go down to Stroud and find the aft Stroud cap. And that's actually going to hold all the components, rear components on. Need another fuel tank down there. And we're going to go ahead and put our engines on now. 1 and 2. That was part of the reason that I used the Stroud cap back there, was for its attachment points on the sides. And that's where our engines go. Now we just need to finish off this tail. Put our storage right there. I'm going to put on our second fuel tank. Went with this Ulysses. These 2 fuel tanks, you get nearly triple the range of the original Frontier. And then to finish off the tail, we just need a Deimos belly in the aft position. And that's the ship, really. We need to get our weapons on now, and then we're done. And we have our disruptors and our Vanguard auto projectors are ready. Our third weapon group is going to be another set of auto particle beams. they are going to be the PBO 30s. So put these back onto some hard points, find your weapons tab, and get 2 of the PBO 30 auto electron beams. This will be your third group of weapons, and I know we're using only half of what we could be using for each of these, but as our reactor output is limited still because of our level, we are going to do that intentionally so that we still get good recharge rates on all 3 of those weapons groups. It still has amazing DPS for this level. Don't worry, you're not going to be hurting in combat, and you'll see that pretty clearly in the rest of the combat footage I have to show you. So now, if you want to have more cargo and sacrifice some mobility for it, you easily can. Just replace one of your Deimos hull pieces with a storage unit. Now, originally when I built this ship, I used these Starfreight cargo units, and that is where the green color came from. Now, this isn't the ship that I prefer to fly. I like the lighter version with all 4 of the Deimos hulls, but if this is your preference, you go ahead and run it. You can haul more cargo, almost double the cargo with those 2 units there. So we're going to throw the hulls back on, and this is the ship we're going to be flying for the rest of the video. Now we're going to take a quick tour of the interior. Quick because it is simple. It only has 3 habs and a cockpit. Despite that, the habs that I used basically give you anything that you need and no more. So when you enter, you come straight into the workshop, which is not the most ideal design for the interior, but again, this is a ship that is only what you need and nothing more. This workshop gives you the ability to complete all of your research projects, customize your weapons and your spacesuit, and craft any crafting components there at the industrial workbench. You come upstairs into the Frontier unique hab module, and you can sleep, get your XP bonus, and this is the one unique module in the game so far that we have at all. So I like to keep this one. Your docking hatch is right above the ladder there. And if we go back downstairs and go forward of the ladder, we get the Nova Galactic control stations and the cockpit ahead of that.
You ever tried Aurora?
Well, not in a long time.
So you've watched me build the ship, and you've had plenty of time to critique my decisions and come up with feedback for me. Please put them in the comments. I appreciate your engagement, and I keep the comments open, so say whatever you want. Thank you for watching this video, and stick around for future ships. I definitely have more planned, and I can't bring them to you guys fast enough. I really want to, but I'm limited on the amount of time that I have. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Time to greet the stars.